All right, here we go. Round two of my post regarding Bellarmine at Bowling Green State University this evening. I'm really looking forward to this game as it's going to be a contrast in styles, if you will. I know I posted initially Taylor Swift versus George Wendt in a chicken wing eating contest. Maybe a little over the top, but it's definitely going to be a contrasting style affair. What I mean by that is Bellarmine, who is coached by Scott Davenport, who's been around the game for a long, long, long time. He is sort of the state of Kentucky's Coach Dick Bennett in the fact that he's coached at several different spots in Kentucky, and has learned from his mentors were some of the best coaches who ever coached the game. But Scott Davenport's teams are known for their half court man to man defense, and it's sort of a hybrid pack line, hybrid pressure. But and I don't know Coach Davenport. This is just from watching his teams for the last few years play. But it seems to be a scouting report or a defense that's based strictly upon a scouting report that's fairly detailed and rigid. But offensively, they run a combination of Garland pin holsters, wheel offense. So if you're an Indiana person, Bill Patrick or Rob Irwin or Jim Irwin, those coaches who utilize the wheel. And it also has a lot of characteristics of Dan Peters or Bob Puggins' 5-out open post in it. So kind of a hybrid of those two offenses, which I think most people, including myself, would say are two fantastic approaches, with the wheel being sort of like a flex and a little bit more stringent. And then you have the 5-out open post from Dan Peters that's a lot more open concept and flexible. So Scott Davenport's Bellarmine teams are exceptional at grinding. They're going to grind and grind on both ends of the floor. And on the offensive end, they're going to attack via the pass most of the time. Now, their kids will put the thing on the deck, but it's like we did when I played high school basketball, where you dribble for three reasons: to create a better passing angle, to get out of trouble, or to make a straight line drive to the basket for a layup, or to create a shot for a teammate. They don't do a lot of excessive dribbling. They do not screen on the ball excessively. Most of their screens are off the ball screens, and I think they're probably most famous for their back screening. They back screen the heck out of people, and we'll get into that here more detailed in a second. Where Bowling Green State University, coached by first-year coach Todd Simon from Southern Utah, has a completely different philosophy where they want to run. They are playing fast racehorse basketball, where Bellarmine's playing plow horse basketball. Coach Simon's kids do a fantastic job of creating shots off of ball screens and off of isolations. And I'm sure there's a more modern term for how they post up out on the mid, what I call the mid post, an area maybe 5-10 feet above the short corner is where they do make a lot of their post ups. And transition wise, they're fantastic. I've been blessed to see several of Coach Simon's practices and one of their scrimmages. And not that Bellarmine doesn't play hard, that's not my point. But Coach Simon's practices are unreal. Their kids really get after it and play extremely hard. And their practices are extremely organized and well orchestrated. So Bellarmine, let's talk about the wheel type of stuff they do, and it's not as straight up Garland pinholster or Bill Patrick wheel. It just has some of those qualities to it. And another school who utilizes this offense is St. Louis University or Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri, and they are a Division III powerhouse who really makes this Bellarmine type offense look easy. And I've had to guard that offense from a high school coach's perspective when we played Elida, when Denny Thompson was coaching there, and coach against Denny Thompson or get a root canal from Captain Hook. They're both going to hurt equally as well, or as much as possible. So it's, this wheel St. Louis, Washington, St. Louis type hybrid type offense. Usually they have a cutter or a couple cutters start up here, and they're very creative on how they get the ball to the wing. They've got a multitude of different entries they use to get the ball to the wing. But anyway, let's say the ball goes here, and then that first cut is what Bill Harrell at Muncie Central called a burn cut. So 3 is just going to sprint or burn off of 5 looking for that lay-in, and then simultaneously here comes 1 and 4. Sometimes there's a screen, sometimes they're not. Sometimes 5 will reverse his pivot, and there's a nice double screen here. And sometimes they curl this in 1 pops. They have a multitude of different things. I have seen them get this lob several times. And then the ball is burnt or fired, just literally rocketed here. And then we have a cut, or they have a screening action, but they get the ball reversed. And at each person who passes the ball, their defensive player is going to get waylaid on a back screen. So let's go back here to where 2 had it. The ball is fired out of here, and there's the first back screen. I mean, and they just rock jaws, knock noses, skull to skull, whatever you want to say, but they just rock you on those back screens. And Paul Keller at Delta High School in Muncie, Indiana, was famous for this. And he just simply called it pick the passer, which pretty darn simple. There's another pass, so we're going to get a back screen here. He could 2 typically, after he makes that cut, if he doesn't get it, will do one of 2 things. He'll elevator cut up, or he will back screen his way out onto the court, or to the perimeter, I mean to say. So there's a pass. There's another waylay, a pick the passer. So you can see how this wheel type, pick the passer type, 5-out open post type offense, and this year's Bellarmine offense does look a lot more 5-out than last year's did. But anyway, it's good stuff. It's very unpredictable. It's very kind of blocker move-ish, if you will, or probably more like a Coach Knight offense, where there is not designated screeners and cutters, where everybody is a screener and everybody's a cutter, except for Jerry Sloan's son, who was affectionately named Sloan Screen 45, which was some of the best basketball, or my favorite IU basketball of all time. But anyway, you can see how this would be difficult, very difficult to guard. There's a lot of movement. They just back screen the heck out of you. There are a lot of times where, if there's what we used to call a naked post, where let's say 5 has it here and he rockets the ball and there's no person under him to back screen, where he will cut and then become the screener, and then he will back screen his way out back onto the perimeter. They do a great job of this, where let's say the ball is here on true north, and they'll back screen, re-screen, what we called a kickback when I coached, and then slip. And then while that's happening, the players here will empty the lane out with kind of a pseudo down screen, or a pin in, whatever you want to call it. Okay, Bowling Green State University. They are going to get the ball and go. They're going to get the corners filled with shooters, and they have a couple kids who can flat out light it up, and they'll have a rim runner. And they will take fast shots, and they are trained exceptionally well to offensive rebound off of those quick shots. They're exceptional at getting the ball here and developing a lot of different types of plays. What we used to call just straight line drives. They will ball screen this action and have a lot of different things they do off of those ball screen actions, kind of like when Jerry Sloan was the coach of the Utah Jazz. Just 1,000,005 things you can do off a screen on the ball action. They're also outstanding at chin action, where they'll pass the ball guard to guard and blister the thing to the forward and have some chin action here. And they make a lot of really good reads off that. They are outstanding, as I've said, at screening on the ball and doing a lot of neat things. I know they run a lot of modern NBA action. And what I was referring to earlier with the posting up, they post their players up out in this area here versus how I demanded we posted up here and here. They've got their guys out here where now, and once the ball is entered to that, well, mid post is what I would call. I don't know, but they clear out. They sink and fill, and they give this guy room to operate. And Coach Gurman, one of the assistant coaches, is in charge of teaching these post moves, and he is fantastic. I can sit and watch him and listen to him teach these moves these kids make all day. He's specific in his teaching and extremely pointed, and he's outstanding at walking the kids through the footwork, nice and slow. He's got great terminology, and the kids start at a slow pace and work their way up to a game speed with all of these moves. And he is such a gifted teacher. He's fantastic. To steal a line from Don Meyer, Helen Keller could walk away from Coach Gurman's 10-15 minute practice slot with his post players and understand exactly what they were working on that day. He is so specific and pointed in his teaching. So it's going to be a contrasting of style. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a great thing for college basketball this early in the year. And no matter what happens, I do think both teams are going to learn a heck of a lot about themselves. And tomorrow, I think they're both going to have a much better understanding of where they are at, not just team-wise, but individual-wise, fundamentally, teamness, all of those things. So I know the question will be asked, who are you taking? I'm going to make believe I'm at the dog track and it's a push. I don't know. I haven't seen enough of both teams live, or at least in a position where I was able to pay 100% attention to the games. I've recorded all their games. I just haven't got around to watching them yet. So I don't know. But I do know it's going to be exciting, and I'm looking so forward to seeing how Coach Davenport is going to counter BGSU's, the Falcons' running game and their up the line, on the line, pressure-packed defense. And I'm really looking forward to seeing Scott Davenport, how he's going, or how Coach Simon's going to counter the grindability of Bellarmine. Hey, have a great weekend. I know I'm excited. It's Friday. And if you hear a bigger overstatement of the obvious than that, don't tell me. I want to win something today. I want to go into the weekend with a win. And that being said, that will be the biggest overstatement of the obvious you hear. Have a great Thanksgiving, and God bless, folks. Get after it. Make someone's day. Or if you don't like them, make them run away. Fast. Smoke under feet fast. Have a great day.